Hey, it's Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? And we're taking a look at the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2. Now, this is the update to one of last year's more anticipated and pretty well-regarded devices that brought a bit of a different philosophy to the display and design of a large smartphone. Now, one thing that was an issue last year with the Mi Mix was that it was just a little bit too big, but that has changed this year while still retaining a lot of what made the design of last year's Mi Mix pretty well received. The update to the overall design brings rounded sides, and the frame is actually made of aluminum alloy while the backing is still made of that lovely ceramic that Xiaomi loves to use in their devices. It makes for a phone that is still really nice to look at, and it feels a lot better in the hand due to its smaller overall size than compared to last year. That screen comes in at 5.99 inches with an 18:9 Full HD Plus display that still looks pretty great and has the most minimal bezels that they can possibly put on this device. Now, the forehead is actually as minimal as possible, just like last year's Mi Mix, so the front-facing camera has been moved to the bottom right corner. Yes, this is still a thing when it comes to the Mi Mix, and it might be a little bit odd at first, but they really tried to make this a black slab all around, and as you can see closely, they actually coated it with a black material so that it will pretty much blend in with the rest of the turned off screen. Speaking of that front-facing camera, it is a 5-megapixel shooter, and when you open up the camera for the first time and try to use the front-facing camera, it actually tells you to flip the phone around in order for you to take a more conventional selfie. Now, one of the issues from last year's Mi Mix was the fact that the replacement for the phone speaker just wasn't really the most effective alternative. Now, they have gone back to actually having a speaker at the top, where you have a tube unit that points upward and provides just that tiny little slit at the top. However, the ultrasonic proximity sensor is still found in this top area right underneath the screen, so the phone still knows when it is next to your face or inside of your pocket. Taking a look at the specifications underneath, we have the Snapdragon 835 with 6GB of RAM and 64, 128, or 256GB of onboard storage. There is a Mi Mix 2 Special Edition that uses a unibody ceramic design without that aluminum alloy, which is pretty interesting, and that one comes with 8GB of RAM and 128GB of onboard storage. The battery is a non-removable 3400 mAh battery, and it can be charged with QC3. Now you're going to be looking around the device and realize there's no headphone jack, and the little adapter was actually kind of hiding. It took me a while to find it behind this flap inside of the box. Now, one of the more interesting parts about the Mi Mix 2 is that it will have global bands. It will actually have more bands than the Mi Note 2 had when it was released, which means that you'll be able to use this device even in the US, even if it's not really officially going on sale in the US. But it will be available in Xiaomi's main markets, including India, and also in higher quantities than the original Mi Mix was made available. So now we can talk about the camera, and unfortunately it is not the dual camera setup that we enjoyed on the Mi 6. Instead, you get an IMX 386 image sensor with 4-axis optical image stabilization. It comes with an f2.0 aperture, and overall it uses the same software that you might be used to in other Xiaomi devices. HDR is still a toggle, there's no HDR auto mode, and as far as video modes go, you'll be able to record up to 4K resolution. We'll give you more about the camera, including camera samples, as I use this phone as my daily driver over the next week or two. Overall, what we like about the Mi Mix 2 is that it takes a lot of the same cues from the original Mi Mix and just makes it more accessible. With a 6-inch screen, it is actually a lot easier to handle, which was a big issue from last year. And with that 4-sided curved ceramic body, it still looks incredible, but at the same time is pretty ergonomically accessible because of the curves on the back and the front. The MIUI is pretty easy on the eyes, even though it doesn't have an app drawer, but that can always be changed a little bit later, and it was nice that Google services were already installed on this phone ready to go. And so there you have it, your first look and hands-on with the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2. Xiaomi continues to use ceramic material to great effect, and they've brought out yet another phone that looks awesome and this time feels awesome while providing what is supposed to be pretty much all screen all the time. This 18:9 minimal bezel screen is something that we're getting really used to in today's smartphone landscape, and it's good to see that Xiaomi is sticking to their guns when it comes to the original Mi Mix design and updating it for everybody to enjoy now.